James joins us to talk about his new position as Director of Music at St. Paul's Church and Choir School in Harvard Square. James, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here, Jay.
What is it with the choir school and guys from England?
That's true. When I did my interview, the boys were like, "He has another funny accent." And I'm like, "Yep, well, that's how we talk in England." So I grew up in the UK, and I grew up in a men and boys choir, and there were hundreds of them, and there still are. It's a really strong culture. I mean, it's something that every young boy and girl who loves music can do from a young age. And when I came to the States, I made it sort of my mission to re-energize that.
Well, and we need it because it is just such a wonderful school. And your resume, you're a conductor, keyboardist, tenor, composer. So what made you decide to take on the St. Paul's Choir School?
So St. Paul's is the only boys' Catholic choir school in the country.
Which is amazing.
It is, and it's also extraordinary that there aren't more, because the education and the music part, the proven development of the brain when boys are singing, I mean, it makes the kids smarter, literally, and we're doing a wonderful, faithful thing, and it's something that I've always been called to do, so I thought, this is my mission. It actually happens to my wife's grandfather sang in the choir for decades in the 30s and 40s. So this was his favorite church growing up, and she was born in Boston. And
oh, I didn't know that. Your wife was born in Boston?
Yes. So we have very strong connections. So when this position came up, I thought all the stars are aligned.
What do you think it is about music and education that really helps with the formation of a person?
Yeah, it's partly the music making, so we have to work as a team, especially when you sing in a choir. You can't just do what you want to do, you have to do what the group wants to do. Sometimes we haven't quite got there with some of our kids, and that's hilarious. So we're able to achieve like a team mentality from a very young age. These are 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds doing the job of 20 or 30-year-olds in terms of the approach and their concentration. They learn to read in languages, they learn to read different music and text at the same time. They learn to behave, they learn, as I say, to concentrate, and that all makes them better.
High-level stuff.
Really high-level stuff. And the greatest thing, they don't know they're doing it.
Really?
It is all black magic. we teach them this, and we sing, of course, on a daily basis for Mass. We have 2 rehearsals a day, and the boys just love it. They don't think they're working, they think that they're playing and having fun.
And it is different, because most of us are used to an education where you go to school and that's it. But you're going to school, then you're practicing, and you're doing all these things. Has there been anything about the community in general that has surprised you?
Yes, it's actually the dedication of our parents.
Really?
Because we're a day school, so we're, traditionally in England at least, you would go to a boarding school, and so the kids are on site. We are really driven by our parents and our community at the church. They're so supportive, and our pastor, Father Kelly, who was a chorister himself, so he knows exactly how great this is unbelievably supportive.
So it's a whole thing. It must be a great commitment by the family.
It is. It's a full immersion experience. I grew up with, doing this, and my sister had to kind of tag team along, and she reminds me on a daily basis how annoying that was for her. But it's what we're able to achieve in those few years before the boys' voices break, which is 12, 13 years old, is just extraordinary.
And we've had a number of the choir students here at CatholicTV, and they are extraordinary. What's a typical day like, if there is a typical day?
So normally the boys arrive at school at about 7:30. They have lessons for a few hours, and then we have our first rehearsal for an hour. That's really to prepare for Mass. Then we have daily Mass at 12:10. And if you're around in Harvard Square, come along. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I heard.
35-minute service, just the most beautiful, peaceful way to sort of carve out the middle of the day. And then the boys go and have lunch, and then they have recess. Then we have another rehearsal when they're a little more wild, because they're a little more pent up. So we get lots of fun things done then. Then they have we might go and play dodgeball or something fun, and then they're off home.
Now, in today's world, you don't see as much of people singing. How do you find the talent, and how does a family discover if their son is talented and this is the direction they should go in?
Yeah, well, normally it's because they hear their kids singing. That's how my parents knew. I just walked around the house singing at the top of my lungs, and they're like, we've got to get this kid into a choir. And so we're always looking for people who have kids who are musically inclined, who play instruments, who like listening to music, but they don't have to have any musical skill. That's what we teach them. But it's an outlet for people who have that passion and that commitment to really bring it to fruit. And
is it a passion? Is it a real passion?
Oh yeah, I would say every single one of our kids, even if they don't realize it, as I said, a lot of this stuff happens, you realize it later in life. But it's life-changing, it's life-forming. And it's no coincidence that we've had a lot of our graduates go into priestly formation, and I think we have even a bishop or two who have passed through those doors. So it's transformational. It really is.
And is there a close connection with the alumni? Do you see the alumni a lot?
Yes, we do. Actually, this Sunday, November 3rd, we have it's Alumni Sunday, so we'll be calling them back. I don't know if we can fit them all into the choir loft. So if we get like 100 people, oh, they will, yes. And we have music that they will have, remember from the last, 20, 30 years, including our Pastor Bill Kelly. So he'll be up there singing away, and it's a really lovely way to create that connection. And that's what boys' choirs do. They connect us to the very beginning of Catholic music, when men and boys would have sung for centuries, and that's what we're directly connected to now.
Now, everybody around here, I'm sure, knows about the Christmas and Advent concerts.
Oh, yes.
They're a bit famous.
They are a little famous.
And now, how do people get tickets? Tell me a little bit about it.
So they're on the Sundays in December, the 8th and the 13th. I think those are the dates, at 3 p.m. at St. Paul's. If you've never experienced St. Paul's Christmas in Harvard Square, then you really need to, because the sound of the boys' voices singing Once in Royal David's City and Silent Night, tunes by John Rutter. I've written a couple of pieces that we'll be performing for the first time this year as well. It's truly magical, and it's a lovely way to sort of start off the Christmas thing. We're not really in Christmas. I keep reminding people, and I know they don't like it, but Christmas starts on the 25th of December at midnight.
It's just Advent. We're in Advent.
Exactly. So we're a bit naughty doing Christmas
Barney's big
stuff.
on that.
Good. So we call them Christmas concerts, but we're still, we're devotional, and we're still thinking of, the Advent time going on. But yeah, they're really, really beautiful concerts.
So if someone's at home and their child, or maybe even the child's watching, because we do have younger people who watch, and they're interested in this, how do they find out more about St. Paul?
So the best thing is to go to our website, stpaulschoirschool.org. That's Saint spelled out S-A-N-T. And we have videos on YouTube. We have all kinds of reports from our choristers and from our alumni, what it's like to actually do this. And we have chorister for a day trials. So you just turn up and come and see what it's like, see if it's a good fit. And we're always interested in
not a
meeting with
commitment,
people.
just to see if it's something that you like.
Yeah, it's really important. We don't have auditions. There's nothing formal about this. We want to see who you are, and for you to see who we are. And that way we can really sort of grow the faith in this really special way.
James, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us.